Hello and welcome to iCan Media. We are coming to you from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We are just outside of Canada Place where a huge conference is going on called Globe 2014. I'm your host, Rob Hislop, and over the next couple of days we're going to be heading into the conference, taking in some of the many sessions and talking to some of the keynote speakers. Some of the topics discussed: changing energy landscapes and responsible resource management. Now, there are over 250 plus speakers, world leaders in their industry, talking here over the next 3 days. 50 plus countries are represented, and there are over 300 exhibitors at the trade show. We are going to give you a taste of what Globe 2014 has in store. Joining us now on iCan Media is Mike Volker. And Mike, you were part of a session called From Innovation to Market. First, tell us who you're with and then what the session was about.
Okay, well, I'm with Simon Fraser University, but here at Globe, I'm with the Powerhouse Pavilion, and what we are is a network that brings investors and capital to startup companies. And we've got over 30 of these companies featured here at the Globe.
Now, here we're talking about From Innovation to Market. So tell us a little bit about that concept.
Well, the big challenge for startups is to get the first customer. And what we try to do through the investor network is connect companies to potential customers.
So when you've done that, but one of the things you said, is that when they come to you, they should have customers already.
Yes, but the fact is, that's nice, but the reality is different. They usually don't, or often they're the wrong customers. They think they should be going after a certain market or certain users, and maybe it's not the right ones. Now, obviously, if they come to us with customers, that makes life a lot easier. But that's, as I say, not usually the case.
One of the concepts discussed here is pathfinding. Perhaps you can explain that.
Yeah, so the idea is to help them find the path to those customers, and especially for big ticket items, it's not easy. Like if someone's got an anaerobic digester for a sewage plant, for example, it's tough to get into those customers. And not so much to get your foot through the door and meet with them, but to actually get them to the point where they have the confidence that you can deliver and where they're willing to give you an order. Because a lot of these organizations, especially in the clean tech sector, are very risk averse.
One of the things I heard you say that sort of struck me as odd is you don't have to have a perfect product to go to market.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's got to be close.
Take a look at Microsoft. Their software still isn't working perfectly. And look at how big they are.
Yeah. And so what do you think people should have when they go to market then? How far along should they be?
Well, you need to at least be able to demonstrate that what you have works. And I don't know if I agree with the comment entirely that it doesn't have, I'll go so far as to say it doesn't have to be perfect. But it, on the other hand, especially in clean tech, you have to be very careful that it does perform, because if there are any flaws in it, it could cause problems. You know, it could cause environmental problems. You could have leakages and spillage and things like that that could be environmentally damaging. So in the clean tech sector, you have to have a robust product. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect. It may, not be performing 100% efficiently, but it's got to be performing, and it certainly has to be safe, and it can't be, dangerous in any way or cause any problems.
One of the things I liked is that the information you gave here in the advice applies to entrepreneurs everywhere. It's not just clean tech, but perhaps you can just give us a couple of points that you would say to entrepreneurs before they, or I guess if they've got an idea, what should they do?
Well, the best thing is to surround themselves with people that really can help them, because what I see, and having gone through it myself, is that no one has a monopoly on knowledge, and especially experience. A big difference between startup entrepreneurs and experienced entrepreneurs is that the startup entrepreneurs don't have that proverbial 10,000 hours of training that Malcolm Gladwell talks about in his book Outliers. So, you wouldn't go in for open heart surgery with a rookie, someone that's just fresh out of college, right? You'd want an experienced person that's done at least a few dozen of them to operate on you. And I think angel investors look at entrepreneurs the same way. So if someone comes out of school or out of a lab and has a great idea, that's wonderful, but that person usually lacks the commercial experience, and that's what it's going to take to make them successful. It's not having the better gadget, the better mousetrap. It's being able to get it to market and, of course, make money doing that.
And that's where you surround yourself with the right people.
Exactly. So experience, not knowledge, but experience is so important.
You mentioned angel investor.
Yes. Angel investors, of course, that's where I spend most of my time. Angel investors are people that are successful business people that now invest not only money but also time in mentoring and encouraging and nurturing new entrepreneurs and new startup businesses.
So how does a new entrepreneur then get his or herself connected with this type of a group and this sort of experience?
Well, the good news is that there are now angel networks springing up really all over the world. And there are national organizations which encourage that. And so if someone is, for example, here in Vancouver, all they have to do is Google angel investor and they'll get several hits and they'll be connected with several networks that can help them. And these range anywhere from volunteer groups that don't charge a nickel to ones that run it more professionally and charge a fee for doing that. But there is a lot of free help because typically entrepreneurs who are successful got help along the way and now they feel obligated to also put something back and help others going through that for the first time.
Last question, I believe. Crowdfunding, crowdsourcing came up here as well. That seems to be a phenomenon that is gaining in popularity. Your thoughts on that?
Well, the best form of crowdfunding, a good example is this watch. This is the notorious Pebble watch that raised $10 million. And what it did, it enabled the company to raise the money, but also validate the product because people said, hey, that sounds like a good idea, I'll buy it. So the company raised $10 million and didn't have to give up a single piece of ownership. Now, equity crowdfunding, on the other hand, this is what's being talked about a lot, is where companies sell their shares to the general public. And in my view, that's really like going public because when you're selling to the crowd, the crowd is the public. But the question is, and the challenge is, once you've sold to the crowd, then how does the crowd cash in? How do people that buy your shares unload them and make a profit? Do they wait until someone like a Google buys you, or do they wait until there's some market that's created? And if they wait until a market's created, well, then we've gone full circle, and now you're really a public company trading on a junior public exchange.
Am I right in thinking that you're not a huge supporter of crowdfunding?
I am a big supporter of it, yes, and the reason is because angel investors are restricted to the top roughly 1% of the population. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't in the top 1%, but are in the top 10 or 20% that would love to gamble on a company. It is a little better than gambling in a lottery.
A little.
A little bit.
Mike,
and more fun.
There you go. Mike, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
All right.